right, everybody catch. So my role was default row. I had to come over here and change my role to advanced in order to see the surface. So that's just how it's set up. So that's why I keep wanting it. All right, so now I'm gonna go to surface. I'm gonna create surface. We have many ways to create surfaces. Normally I just draw sides and then I can come over here and I can do boundary plane. I can do 4-point surface, 2 points, mid-surface. These are all the little things that we can do. This mid-surface. Mid-surface is kind of cool. We may or may not be able to do an example where we do that, but basically I can draw a 3D model. So I have my 3D full model of a bracket or something, but it's real thin. So I'm like, an example of this would be like a book holder. You've seen the metal book holders, right? So I have a metal book holder. I could draw this metal book holder. This is what it's going to look like. But when I want to go do the analysis of it, I don't have to do a full 3D element for it because it's real thin, right? So I want to do a shell element. But how in the heck am I going to do a shell element for that? You can come over here and pick mid-surface and pick your structure, and it'll generate a surface along the mid-surface of that. Pretty cool. It's really slick. Really slick to create your mid-surface. And then I can go and then do my shell elements on the mid-surface, right? And that would give me actually a very good analysis. All right, so I want to come over here, and I should be able to do this by set of tangent planar curves, so this bounded plane. So I can come over here and I can click this. And then I can click that. And that will give me my sheet with the hole in the center, right? Assuming that's what I want. So then I can go ahead and hit OK. And now I have my surface. You can actually come over here and click over here and do surface, face, and then it'll take that. And if you want, I can come over here. I can go ahead and sketch. I might pick that surface and come over here, and then I might come over here and pick a line. I might do midpoint, midpoint. And then I might come in and use that line to divide face, so I might go over here and format. And you saw that over there, so there's a trim, split body, trim, circle, by face. So I might select face, and then I come over here and I'll select the line, and then I'll hit OK. And now if I come over here and pick face, now I see I have 2 separate faces. And now I'm going to go ahead and come over here. I finished it. Now that I finished it, I don't need any lines going to my FEM and Sim, right? So when I come over here and I go start, advanced simulation, and now I can come over here and I can do new FEM and Sim. I want to do create idolize. I don't care about any lines now, and then we'll do more structural and OK. And then OK. And now I'm ready to go. Now I can start meshing this. Alright. So I might come over here one of the ways. We're going to learn lots of different ways to mesh. So when we're doing stick model, it's not a big deal, but now that we're moving to 2D and 3D, it's very important that we understand where our stress is going to be. So where we have high stresses is where I want to find a fine mesh, okay? So wherever we have high stresses, I want to find mesh. So when I'm starting to mesh, I'll actually look at my part and then try to decide, okay, this is where I'm going to have a fine mesh. So from this place, as I move away from the place of high stress, my elements could get bigger and bigger, right? in finite elements, we can always hit it with a big hammer. I can come in and I can just put a gazillion elements everywhere. Okay? I can run it, I can come back later. Is that going to be, are my results going to be different than something where I actually was real meticulous in the mesh, I meshed it appropriately where I had high stresses? Am I gonna get the same answer? Yeah. They're basically gonna be the same. And that's fine, you can always do that. But in this class, we're learning how to mesh, we're learning how to control things. And when you have something really big, it does matter. Okay? Time, it'll take a long time. So one of the things that we did in this class, it probably took about 8 hours to run, okay, on a fast machine. So it would take at least 8 hours on each machine. So basically, you're gonna run it and you're gonna come back and look at it the next day, because it takes that long to run. So it's real important that you understand where you're gonna mesh it, where you're gonna have a fine mesh, where you're gonna have a coarse mesh, that kind of thing. So identify where you have the high stresses, and then that's where you want the fine mesh, and as you move away from that place, your elements should grow. They should get bigger and bigger. And now we're just learning how to mesh, so we're just gonna come in and create stuff. Alright, so this is my surface. This is typically representing a 2D, a 3D object, right? Or a 3D part. So it's real important that we understand that this is the mid-surface. I'm gonna define a thickness when I'm creating my collector. Alright, so let's just say this is made out of aluminum, so I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna go ahead and do my collector. I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna do my 2D elements, and then thin shell, I'm gonna have two options. Most stuff's gonna be thin shell. I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna click on this, create physical, so it comes to my material. I'm gonna come in here and select aluminum. And then I'm gonna come over here, this is the default thickness. Most finite element packages make a default thickness of 1. So here we need to understand how thick our part is. If this is a 0.2 inch big plate, then I might go in and put in 0.2, for example, here for the thickness. Now this is the mid-surface, okay? So that means I'm modeling the center of whatever plate I have, okay? So it's gonna go 0.1 inches above, 0.1 inches below. Okay? Now we have control of this. It's a little bit more interesting to get to. We have control. I can actually do my surface and say the thickness is above the surface, the thickness is below the surface. The default is mid-surface. So I have half of it above and half of it below the mid-surface. So that's where we're at, but I can move it around. Now when you're doing packages, most packages by default is in the center, okay? But it doesn't hurt to double check. You should be able to look it up and find when you specify the thickness and you model something, are you modeling the center? In other words, you have half the thickness above your surface and half below. So that you don't want to double check on. So I have that defined, I hit OK. My thin shell, I can give it a name if I want. I hit OK. And now I define my collector, so I can now come in and mesh it. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click right here. We basically have couple kinds of meshes. We have 2D mesh, we have 2D map mesh, we have 2D dependent mesh, 2D local remesh I've never used. So we usually use these 3. So we use those 3. A 2D mesh is it's going to do it, it's going to mesh it, it doesn't pay attention to anything, we just control how it meshes it a little bit. So when we push 2D, it's going to give us another option, and we're going to have all kinds of things that we can fill out in this table. A 2D map mesh is typically when we have something rectangular. I have 4 sides. If I have 4 sides, then it's easier for me to use rectangular, a map mesh. Okay? If I have something that has, so if I have something rectangular, I'm going to use map mesh, okay? Because it needs 4 sides. doing it. Otherwise, if I'm gonna mesh something like this, if I'm gonna mesh this part, and then I have 4 on the outside, right? But in the inside, I don't. So I have a problem when it's gonna try to mesh this. Because this is all one side, right? If I had like a rectangle inside a rectangle and I had a rectangular cutout, then I could do 2D map mesh pretty easy. But here, no. Alright, so I'm gonna go back, so let's go ahead and let's go do this. So I'm gonna do my map mesh. I'm saying, oh, this is a nice square part, rectangular part, so I can do 2D. I can do a quad 4, so it has 4 elements, 4 nodes, or I can do a quad 8. So quad 8 element has how many nodes? How many nodes does quad 8 have? 8. Now, on the other one, quad 4 has four nodes, right? 8 nodes, 4 nodes, right? So the difference between the two is if I'm doing a quad 4, let me just do a quad 4. Let's just come over here, select element size. I'm going to do a big number. Export mesh to solver. We'll look at that in a second. Let's see, it's doing something else. I don't want to tell you. So basically, remember. Remember when we were looking at the theory of finite elements and we were doing the equation, and when we said in the difference between something like nx and pro e is nx we use, if we want to get a better result, we use more elements, right? We call that h refinement. And then pro e used the order of the model or the order of the approximation. The easiest order was 1 for P, right? We call that P refinement. A P1 would basically be the equation of a straight line, right? So that means between this node and this node, the displacement is going to be a straight line, right? So I just interpolate if I want the displacement anywhere in between that. I can interpolate, right? It's a linear interpolation, right? Y equals ax plus b kind of thing. Now, if I use 2, then I'm using a quadratic equation, right? Y is equal to a plus bx plus cx squared. So remember I said you need 3 elements to do that? You need 3 elements to do that. So the difference between a quad 4 and a quad 8, for example, is a quad 4 is a linear approximation. Now, if I have nice square surfaces, then that's fine. If I want a better result, I use quad 4 and I just use a bunch of elements, right? If it's curved, though, then I better be using 8-noded elements. I need to use higher order elements because it's curved. So it's not a simple linear approximation between the distance between 2 nodes because it's curved. Okay? So in order for me to account for that curvature, I need to use a higher order element. So the rule of thumb is if I have any kind of curved surface, then I better be using a quadratic element. Okay? I need to use a higher order element to model that. So in my plate here, if I'm modeling that plate, since it has a hole in the center, right, then I better be using 8-noded elements. Now, 8-noded elements and 4-noded elements are going to get along, right? It's going to let me mesh it. Yeah, let's go ahead and see what it does. I'll show you what it does. Let's search it. But when you see it, it's like, oh, okay, I know what I did wrong. But I'm telling you, you should not mix elements. You can, but you need to be very, very careful how you do it. Okay? So the difference between a 4-noded quad element and an 8-noded quad element, one is a linear approximation and the other one is quadratic approximation. And the only thing you need to remember is if my surface is cubed, that means if I have curvature, then I better use a higher order element. Now, can I still use 8-noded elements on something that's square? Yes. Is it gonna give me, it'll give me a better result than a 4-noded element, right? So you could by default use 8-noded for everything, and you're not gonna go wrong. You're still gonna get good results. So, I hardly ever use the 4, but we can use it. Alright, so when we go to map mesh, we have a nice square surface. I'm gonna go ahead and use 4. Here's my mesh collector. I only have one, so that's why it's only put one here. And notice this auto creation is turned off. It's the same kind of thing when we did our beam elements, right? So I always shut this off. So it's that. I'm gonna go ahead and select this, and then I have this size. This export to solver. This is important. This export to solver right here is later on, when we do full 3D, I can actually use a 2D mesh to control what my 3D mesh looks like. So in other words, I do 2D, I make 2D mesh one surface, and then pass that mesh through my model to create my brick elements, for example, to create my 3D element. The problem is I'm gonna have a 2D mesh here sitting on top of my 3D mesh, right? I don't want this 2D mesh. It'll actually look like I have a plate welded onto the surface of that. That's what it's going to act like when I model it. So what NX allows you to do is you can create that nice 2D mesh, you can use it to control and pass all the way through your 3D model, and then you come over and you tell it not to export it to solve it. So it's basically, it's there, but it doesn't do anything to your model. It's not included in the solution. It's just used as an aid to help you create the 3D mesh. And we do it a lot. The 2D dependent mesh. Let's say I'm meshing something and I have this real intricate mesh on one surface, and I'm gonna pass that mesh through my solid, right? As I pass through the solid, it's not gonna stay the same shape. In other words, I have this real complex 2D shape on one surface, right? I'm gonna pass it through my model to create a 3D element, right? But this mesh on this surface and this mesh on this surface aren't going to be the same. So to control it, I need to take this mesh and make this dependent on that mesh. So basically I mesh two surfaces with 2D, then I can pass everything through. Okay? Then I can pass everything through, and then as I move through the solid, it'll be nice and uniform. If I don't do that, it'll grow and stuff. It'll do weird stuff. Alright. So I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna select this. These are all my meshes over here, so I'm gonna go ahead and come over here, element size. Let's go 1. If you do this little lightning bolt thingy, it actually looks at it, and when you're meshing stuff, it's a good place to start. You click on it and it'll automatically pick the size for it. It knows how big the geometry is, so this is a good place to start. I click there and that's what it tells me to do, 1.41, for whatever reason. I like 1, so I'm going to go ahead and change that to 1. Okay. Alright, so then I can come over here and I can preview, and then I can do this mesh options, mesh density, this right here is mesh density. Now, you see these little diamond shaped things right here? Because I did map mesh, what NX is going to allow me to do is it's going to allow me to click on that and change the size of the mesh very easily. So right now, what we've done between map mesh and just 2D mesh now is basically the same. Once we create that mesh and it puts those little diamond things on there, now this is the beauty of the map mesh. Because now I can come over here and I can click on one of these guys. And it should come over here. this right here we can, I hit OK, and now I can come over here. This is my geometry. And that's my mesh. I'm surprised it doesn't show the surface. Alright. So that's 2D mesh. Now I can come over here and I can do 2D math mesh. Now I can do, since this is not nice and rectangular, I can come over here and I can go ahead and do our 2D mesh. I can select that. I'm going to use 3-noted tri-elements. And then again, I'm not sure how big. I can click on this and it will decide for me. This right here, temp free map meshing, it'll try it, but it doesn't really want. It doesn't matter. We usually shut that off. I can control 0 triangle, single triangle kind of thing. Normally doesn't. We can fiddle with these and it'll change things a little bit. Automatic creation. I'm going to do my thin shells. I clicked on this. It gave me a dimension. I can preview and now it should fill it up with nodes. That's what it's going to look like. These we want it to match like it should be. And that's basically all we can do. I can come over here and I can do undo. I can make this smaller. And now that's what it'll look like. And sometimes, you know, we don't have a lot of control. If I want more control, what do I need to do? Oh, I think this is what for. That's good, yeah? Sure. I hit OK, so these are my 2 meshes. And again, if I want, I can come over here and I can do edit display. Yeah, and normally, if you come up with some kind of convention, you'll be fine. Normally, when I do 3D model, I make all my 2D meshes a certain color. That way, when I'm looking at it, it's easy to tell if that's like what I use to create my mesh. And then it's 2D. Alright, so I have everything meshed. Now I'm going to go ahead and come over here and I'm going to apply my boundary condition. So I might come over here. And again, we got to constrain everything appropriately. As we do things, we'll learn more about the meshing, okay? So I'm going to come over here, I'm going to do my sim. So now I'm ready to define boundary conditions. And when I said when we go to 2D and 2D and 3D, then when we pick our boundary conditions, it's going to actually be on our part. So if I change my mesh, then it has no relevance to my boundary conditions because they're going to stay the same because they're attached to our model, right? Our part. So this makes things a lot easier, but every now and then we need to do something. So here we need to be cautious about degrees of freedom and stuff. I might come over here, and let's say I'm just going to pull it apart. Okay? I'm going to stretch this thing. There's different ways to do it. I'm going to let you in on everything. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do user defined constraint. I'm going to pick this edge over here. There's my edge. So now I can specify what I want. I'm going to go ahead and fix everything. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go free. And then I might come over here, apply. this is offset. So remember I told you the force, one way to look at it is offset. For some stupid reason, that's the default, which is pain. So I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna hit edit display, and normally we have this in terms of collapse. So it's offset, that's why it looks like that. Which means it's a little hard to tell which direction it is, and it might be inside. So normally we do collapse. There's my force. Okay? And then my boundary conditions, same stupid thing. I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna edit it, and do collapse. Alright, so now this is where you can see everything. And if I try to come over here and run this, it's gonna fail. Why is it gonna fail? This is just gonna take off to the left. So if you look at the boundary conditions, it's bringing this direction, so it's just gonna take off. So I might come over here. I'm gonna go ahead and edit this. I'm gonna go ahead and fix all directions. And actually, if I really wanted to, it should collapse in the vertical direction, so these should actually be free. So that'll allow it to grow and everything. So I hit OK, so this is what I want. I don't expect it to rotate. I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna add one more. And actually, there's no reason to fix rotation. So let me edit this again. Oh, let's see what it is. Now normally that would be a problem, but I'm going to come over here. It should rotate, but remember, in finite element, we're trying to model something in the real world, in this fictitious finite element world, right? So, but in finite element, it's only solving equations. So even though something physically looks impossible, when it goes to solve it, it's not going to take the physics of that into account. So it's still, even though technically this thing's not going to spin about the z-axis, that's going to cause some problems. Okay? It's going to cause some problems when it tries to solve it. So one way to do that, as we can come over here, and I'm going to go ahead and turn on my mesh. We can come over here, and now I'm going to do this. I'm going to fix in all degrees of freedom, and now I'm going to pick a node. And then I hit OK. So that node is in all 6 degrees of freedom. Usually if you have, and then we're pulling on the other side, so what that's going to do is that's going to allow my model to, that's going to handle the rotational part. Okay? It's going to keep it from blowing up because I don't have it fixed in that rotation for any node. This is a full 3D, this is not the stick model thing. Alright, so, and I might come over here, I don't want to control this. We'll see what it does. It's going to do a lot of weird stuff. So let me control this a little bit. I'm going to come back over here, and this line right here, I'm going to try to just keep it where it only moves in the y direction. The y, I'm not going to let it come in and out of the plane. See, it will, right? Because I have that hole in there. It's going to twist it and all kinds of weird stuff. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to pick this edge. And I want it to move in the y direction, so I want to move it up and down. I don't want to move it in the x direction. So I'm going to go ahead and fix it in the x direction. So I'm forcing that line to stay in the plane. That's what I'm doing. Alright. Alright, so it's all meshed, and now let's go ahead and solve it. click over here, hopefully we'll get a solution, there's our solution. So now I can go ahead and look at displacement, and it's pulling like you want it to look like. These are all the displacements, so it's small displacement, so everything looks good, right? Made out of aluminum, we're pulling with 1,000 pounds. Change my mesh, not a heat mode. Then I'm just gonna go ahead and go back, double check my force. One of them was on a node, right? And it lost it right there. That's the one that should have been fixed in all degrees, so I just double click on it and reselect it. Alright, so now I can go ahead and solve it. Now we have a lot more things going on, right? I haven't shown you everything either. Alright, so hopefully it ran. That's what I wanted to show you. This is what happens when you have a linear element touching a quadratic element. This one has a node in between the edges, right? And this one does not. So it has this like ripping, pulling apart. You can actually see through your part. That's what it's doing. Alright. So you want to kind of avoid that. What else do you want to look at? So there's the displacement. So it's looking at the angle of displacement. You can do look at the stress. These are all the stresses we look at. Normally we look at element stress. And then we come over here, and it's our von Mises stress. But we can do all three directions. Alright, so one of the things, when we're looking at our result, we want to see this nice, uniform color as we move across our part. We don't want anything sticking out like a sore thumb. So the fact that we have these triangles that are all different colors, and it looks like we took a bunch of triangles with different colors and glued them next to each other. So this tells me our model's not very accurate. We want a nice view. See how this transitions right here? In other words, I can't pick anything out here like I can right here. Different colors like this, and they move across elements. We don't want that. Obviously, this is a terrible match. Alright, so some of the things I do is we look at it with this. I can come over here. I click on my little wrench. I can come over here. We do smooth. I can do iso surface. So banded is another thing that we look at. And again, I'm looking for a nice, smooth transition. You can do isoline, but that's not really that good for me. Alright, so banded. No, we're not getting anything from isosurface. We use isosurface a lot when we're in 3D. Alright, so that looks kind of. This one is just so bad. Banded is to get a nice little, it's another way of looking at it. We'll look at banded a little bit. Mostly the iso surface. But anyways. This is what I don't want to see. So it's terrible mesh. We don't like that. Any questions on this? Alright, so this is kind of what homework 3 will look like. Not there. So in homework 3, we're going to actually model a plate. And the plate's going to have a hole, and we want a stress of 100 psi over here and a stress of 100 psi over there. So in here, we want 2D mesh, whole plate, 2D mesh, a quarter of the plate. This is all symmetric, right? So technically, I only need to look at a quarter of the plate. So if I look at a quarter of the plate, either this quarter, bottom, it doesn't matter which quarter of the plate it'll look like, the stress is going to be the same. So in this, we're going to do case 1 with whole plate. Case 2 is going to be a quarter of the plate. Graph the stress in the horizontal direction versus the vertical component of the node. We'll learn how to do this. It's just when NX does it, we have to create a report if we wanted to send it in stone. So it's when you view it, you'll be able to see it, but when I try to look at it, there's no way to record it anywhere. But you can do it inside of NX. I'll show you how to do it. Alright. So a lot of time and effort is going to be spent on this model, so I'm going to go ahead and do open. And actually, I think for both of these, for both cases, I may have done it in one FEM, which is a little bit more tricky. You don't have to worry about it. But this is how I cut up my surface. So if you look at here, I have many surfaces. All these are different surfaces that I have to mesh separately. And this is so I can have total control over everything. Alright, so I'm going to come over here, I'm going to do start, advanced simulation, UFEM and SIM, I hit OK. It knows one already exists, so you should see, yeah, see the SIM2 and the FEM2? Because it knows one already exists. So that's why it's showing 2 there, because I already have a model 1. Alright, so I can come over here, now we can go ahead and do our collector kind of thing. I'm going to go 2D, I'm going to come over here. I'm just making up stuff now. I'm going to show you one more thing. Alright, so we learned how to map mesh and everything, right? So now, we can still map mesh, but now I'm going to control it a little bit different. I'm going to come in. Remember how I said we could create a 3D mesh, and I could take that 3D mesh, and I could basically extrude it through my model. I mean, the 2D mesh, I could extrude it through my model to make my 3D mesh. Same kind of thing, is I'm going to tell it I want to do map mesh, but now I'm going to go, and before I do it, I'm going to try to control what the elements look like along the edge. So I'm going to control how I want it to separate the node. If I just pick it, it's going to do a uniform, each node is going to, or each element is going to have the same length, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, I'm going to seed it. I'm going to tell it I want the length to be like this. And the whole thing is going to be based off of what we think the stresses are going to be. Now, if you paid attention in the 425, you should be able to tell me where the max stress is on this gonna be. Well, on the surface.
Circle to the top or to the bottom?
On the top of the body. So in 425, you should have gone over this whole, if I have a square plate and I have a circle in it, where am I gonna have stress concentration? If I have a square cutout, where am I gonna have stress concentration? Hopefully I will do that. You still there? Maybe just guess.
We get what?
You should have covered it, 'cause it's a whole set of tables, I mean, you can look it up, and it says what the stress is across, you know? Like, if this is the plate with the hole in it, right, we have the stress, it's gonna be in the top and the bottom, right? So it does a little stress profile that shows, you know, the little arrows and stuff, and it shows you where the stress is. So basically, at the top of the circle, at the bottom of the circle, it's gonna be about 2.5 times stress. So I'm gonna have a stress concentration of about 2.5. So basically, if I have 100, it's gonna be like 250 on the top and bottom. So I'm gonna have a stress here. So I know my stress is gonna be here, and as I move around the circle, it's gonna get smaller and smaller, right? So basically, I wanna find mesh right there, but as I move away from that center of the circle, I want it to grow. I want my mesh to grow. Same thing going up in the vertical. I want it fine, but as I move up, I want it to grow, right? So what we can do is I can come over here where my mesh is, and I can do 1D, actually mesh control. I can click on mesh control, and I can do number on the edge. I can come over here, I can do size of edge. This I've never used. Bias on edge, typically what I want to do. So I'm gonna do a bias. So bias just means I'm telling it I'm gonna start off with one length, and as I move across, I want that length to grow. So I might come in, and I'm gonna do bias on the edge. I'm gonna select this edge right here, and it does a little arrow, and I never really pay attention to it. This bias